Unions are some of the most corrupt entities that the United States and other countries have to offer. It's as simple as that.
You said that's not happening this year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see a reason to shake hands. I mean, you look at what's happened in the last 20 years with the big three. Our members haven't got their fair shake. The companies have walked all over them. They've closed around 30 plants or more, spun off more in the course of those 20 years. Our members have been abused between temps, between, all the different tiers. There's no more retirement security for people. And so, what they've done with our workers over the years, we'll shake hands when they give our workers their fair share. When our workers have economic justice, then we'll shake hands. But until then, there's no point in having some pomp and circumstance and some big ceremony acting like we're working together when we're not.
So that is UAW President Shawn Fain. Now, I want you to think about this. He's talking about how the UAW members who work for the big three, that's Ford, GM, and I think Chrysler, have not gotten their fair shake, and they've basically been exploited for the last 20 years. Yet in 2019, UAW negotiated a contract with these auto companies, GM in particular, that is expiring this year on September 14th, 2023. It was a 4-year contract negotiation. And in that contract, they negotiated all of the terms that he's having an issue with. So UAW, who, by the way, the majority of the members were in support of the contract that UAW negotiated with GM, is saying that the workers now who work for GM are getting screwed. They're the ones that negotiated that contract. And this is the problem with unions. Unions don't negotiate on behalf of the members, they negotiate on behalf of themselves. For a union to exist, there has to be a demand for the union to exist. And for there to be a demand for the union to exist, the workers have to be getting screwed because they then will go and pay dues to the union to represent them. But here is the reality of the unions. A union is nothing more than a funnel of substantial funds from due-paying members to the Democratic Party. All Democrats are supposed to be the working party, right? They're the pro-union party. Joe Biden says he's going to be the most pro-union president there ever has been. Why? Well, because he's getting money from the unions. The Democratic Party does not care about the workers. They care that there's an environment where unions have to exist because the dues paid to the unions are funneled to the Democratic Party. I'm not making this up, by the way. This is all public information. You can actually go and look up the financial records of all of these unions. Why do you think AOC is on the picketing line with Teamsters? Because she wants the money from the union. Out of 24 forced union states, plus Washington, D.C., which is a forced union entity as well, all of them except 2 are 100% controlled by Democrats. And of those 2, Alaska, which is 1, is a 50-50 split Democratic control. So why is it that unions have a larger existence in Democrat states? And why is it that Democrats want there to be forced unionization? Because unlike a right-to-work state, when you go and you work in an industry that is unionized, you are forced to pay union dues. Those union dues go to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party could have, in all of these states and local governments, pass policy with their full control that is such in favor of the workers that unions would not need to exist. Yet they don't do that because they need to create an environment where it appears like they are in support of the workers. They get up there and they say they're in support of the workers, but unions still have to persist. And they make it to where unions can actually negotiate with companies in these forced union states to where if you're in an industry that is unionized, like the auto industry, you are forced to join the union as a prerequisite of employment. The UAW is negotiating contracts that in 4 years will still create demand for them to thrive. Unions do not thrive in competitive environments. Unions thrive when there's substantial regulation that they have lobbied into existence, usually created by the Democratic Party, by the way, but it goes both ways, to where they can form more of a monopolistic setting. Unions have monopolies on labor in these forced union states. It's so corrupt. Allow me to expose this. So the AFT, which is the American Federation of Teachers, public sector union, Randy Weingarten, head of the AFT, makes $560,000 per year. That is what? 9 times more than the average teacher salary. Evelyn De Jesus, vice president of the AFT, made $310,717 in 2022. That was a 42% pay increase since 2020. Darren Nedrow, senior director of field services, in 2022 was paid $326,124, a 30% compensation increase from 2021. Frederick Ingram, secretary treasurer of the AFT, made $402,000 in 2022. In 2021, he made $312,680. This is an annual pay increase of 22%. George Bordenov, senior national representative, saw a 76% increase in total compensation from 2021 to 2022. In 2022, the average teacher salary was $68,496, and they saw only a 2.8% annual increase in compensation. The AFT used $49 million in the 2020 presidential election for political lobbying and contributions. 98% went to the Democratic Party. They even hired one employee, Michelle Rinquette, to do nothing but political lobbying and paid her $230,000. The NEA, National Education Association, which is the largest, most powerful union in the world, Becky Pringle, president, received $449,537 in total compensation in 2022. In 2021, she received $431,000, and in 2020, she receives $361,390. She has gotten a 24% increase in total compensation since 2020. The NEA spent more than $69.2 million on payroll, and more than 75% of NEA employees made over six-figure salaries, and 42 of them earned more than $200,000 per year. The NEA also spent $41 million on political lobbying. 98% went to the Democratic Party, and another $119 million in contributions and gifts, much of which went to the Democratic Party. Only 6.62% of NEA spending from the dues that they received went towards representational services, the entire reason that the teachers are paying dues to the NEA. 27% of teachers that are a part of the NEA in 2017 admitted to voting for Donald Trump in the 2016 election, yet 98% of political contributions from the NEA went to the Democratic Party. Therefore, it is a way for the Democratic Party to funnel money into their political campaigns for people who don't even support them. The union is not acting on behalf of its members. According to the NEA's own report, their members, the teachers, on average, are earning 6% less income over the last 10 years when adjusted for inflation. And the NEA also projected the number of public school teachers to decline in 2023. So not only are they making more through dues and giving it all to the Democratic Party and hardly spending any on any representational services for its members, they're expecting their members to continue making less money, and they're expecting less jobs for the teachers that pay dues to them. Now, how the hell does that work?